Welcome back, my Jedi friends. And in this video, I'm going to ask the question, do angels exist? Do they really exist? Are they real, folks? Are they real? So let me start off by telling you a story. When I was 17, I was bought a car. I was, ironically, here's an irony, I was signed up for a crash driving course, which meant I did 5 days of intensive training and I did my driving test at the end of it. And I was qualified within a month of my 17th birthday to drive. My granddad brought over a car that he'd been driving for about 15 years over in Belfast, folks, over in Belfast during the 70s and 80s. This car had survived Belfast for about 10 to 15 years. And he brought it over and I had my first car gifted to me and it was great. And I thought I was king of the road. Thought I was king of the road. I was driving one day. I was in I have to bring you back now. When I grew up in the 70s and 80s, it wasn't necessarily legal to wear a seatbelt. And quite frequently, I didn't. Quite often, didn't wear a seatbelt at all. And I think wearing a seatbelt was made legal or made a legal thing round about, it was certainly late 80s, possibly about a year before I did this, but I certainly wasn't in the habit of wearing a seatbelt. But I went out one day and I don't know what made me do it. I I was guided. It's the only thing I say to put a seatbelt on. I got in the car. It's a lovely hot summer's day, and I was going down a back street. Well, I say back street. It was a rolling back hill suburb part of Hertfordshire where not many people tend to be. And it was rolling roads. It was a national speed limit road. So I was there just minding my own business. The sun was beating down on the car. The music was playing. And suddenly a motorbike overtook me as I wasn't there. And something happened in my 17-year-old um, mammalian mind. And I thought, no one's doing that to me. And I just put my foot down and I just went for it. And the car was just hurtling around these back roads at probably around about 80 miles per hour. Just over around about the 100 kilometers a mile, very close to that sort of mark. And I was flying around these back roads and I hit this corner. There was one that went down like that and it went round at the bottom and then went up a hill the other side. And as I came down that, I hit the side and it was just gravel. There was no pavement or anything like that or a sidewalk. It just hit gravel and I just slid. I just lost complete control of the vehicle and I just kept moving the steering wheel, but nothing was happening. And eventually the steering wheel locked and I flew across the road into the trees, into a ditch, hit a tree, flipped the car, and I just rolled and rolled and rolled and rolled. Probably about 5 or 6 times I rolled the car and I finished upside down. The car was absolutely obliterated. I was hanging upside down by my seatbelt. If there'd been anybody else in that car, if there'd been any passengers or anyone in the back, all of that had collapsed. The passenger side had collapsed. They would have definitely died. The back had collapsed. They would have definitely died. The only support that hadn't been completely annihilated was the driver's side. And I was hanging upside down without a scratch on me. Now, I can honestly tell you that I never believed in angels or guardians or anything like that, but that day certainly got me to start reconsidering what made me do it that day. What was it? Was there an angel looking after me? And I've asked myself that question ever since. And that's coming from somebody with no religious affiliation. I've never followed any sort of religion. I'm not religious, folks. I do not subscribe to any religion. But do I believe that there's entities, there's possibly angels out there? Well, I do believe that. I do believe it, folks. And this was just one of many stories where there cannot be an explanation. I'm either one of the luckiest people on the planet, or there is a force which I do not know. And quite frankly, folks, from a non-religious person, the world is a better place in believing that there are other entities out there. Now, my life has gone down a path where that doubt that I had has been I've had plenty of instances, especially working with people at the end of life in a hospital, where I'm a firm believer that there is some sort of life after death, whatever that looks like. Um, but it certainly got me to question the presence of angels. And I have been to all sorts of workshops and listened to other people's accounts. Now, in the same way that I listen to people talk about God, and I'll be real with you here, folks, I think it's a lot more difficult to prove that there's any sort of God than there is angels or afterlife or energy or anything like this. We're in territory where it's a leap of faith. It's a leap of faith. And some people say, well, you're not religious, you've got no faith. I'm not religious and I do have faith, folks. There's a paradox, isn't it? I do believe in energy. I do believe in universal life force. I do believe that we have the power to connect to the most powerful source in the universe, but most of us choose not to do it for most of the time. Through doing healing, through being on the healing path, you do start to learn that there is a bigger force in life, something that I certainly can't explain, that works through me. It's not that I'm it, it works through me. That I can change my vibration to be in a frequency where I'm a vessel for it to work through me in the same way that you can. Anyone that works with energy operates in this way. You can be that vessel, it can work through you. And are there angels out there facilitating that? I believe so, folks. I believe so. Call them entities, call them your dead relatives, call them your spiritual support team, call them ascended masters. There's plenty out there. It's a lot harder to disprove this stuff than it is to disprove God, for example. So I'm just going to throw it out there. If anyone has any sort of religious inclination or believes in a greater force of good, then why not believe in angels? It's a lot for me, for a non-religious person, it's a lot easier to believe in that. From personal experience, from being close to the edge. And this story is just one of many I could tell where I honestly thought I was about to die. I've had a few crashes. I've rolled down mountains. I've had guns pointed to my head. And each time that happened, I've called on a higher source and I have been completely present in that moment. It's not like I've thought anything. I've just been me and I've been lucky. You can't be lucky all of your life because death is the only guarantee, folks. But what it taught me is that whatever reason I've been put here for, that has not been fulfilled with my contract. Because I can tell you that I don't fear death. I absolutely don't. I am convinced that I'm going back to part of some bigger picture. But for some reason, the universe, this planet, my entities, the angels, have kept me alive for a purpose. And I believe that that is to teach you that you can do this as well. Because this was a lifelong journey for me in learning this stuff. And through teaching it, through practicing it, through witnessing it, through seeing stuff, through doing healing, through working with people who are tapped in. And there's a lot of frauds out there as well, folks. There's a lot of frauds. So I can understand for people that have had negative experiences why you wouldn't get it. But in just the same way, you can't meet one person who's bad and then think everyone else is bad. It's the same with energy. There's the good, the bad, and the ugly out there, my Jedi friends. And whatever you choose to believe in, well, that's on you. But for me, the world is a better place when you can call on your highest spirits and you can call on angels. And one of the most interesting thing I got was a packet of angel cards once. Now I've given them away since, but I had great fun and great insight working with angel cards. So there's my tuppence worth on the subject, folks. Take out of that whatever you will. It's up to you. And I'm not here to deny your belief. I'm just here to share mine. And if that helps you in any way, shape, or form, that's a bonus. And if you don't like it, well, quite frankly, you can fuck off. By all means, troll me in the comments. I'm quite happy for that to happen, my Jedi friends. Bring on the haters. The odds are the haters have turned off long since this and won't get to the point where I've told them to fuck off. So that's another video for another day. In fact, that's the one that I recorded called The Spiritual Art of Telling Somebody to Fuck Off. But we'll save that one. We'll save that one for another day, folks. So whether you believe in the angels or not, That's my tuppence worth on the subject. And if you want more by random musings or my energy exercises or my thoughts on life, by all means, like and subscribe to this video just there. If you want more right now, there's another one just there, folks. But either way, whatever you believe, whatever you do, I wish you well. Good luck to you. And I'm not here to deny anyone else's reality. If you believe it, then it's right for you, folks. And that works for me.